Hey, it's Norforsaken here, and welcome to the next installment in Lyrics on the Go, where I kind of go in and talk about the song and its lyrics and some of the inspirations behind the song. So almost like a behind the music. So the next track we're going to dive deep into is 10 to Me. So enjoy the ride. So 10 to Me is interesting. The way it kind of came about is it kind of just happened in the moment, and it just inspiration just struck me. I wasn't doing anything special. I wasn't involved in anything. Literally, I was just kind of walking around in my home, and this lyric kind of just came to me. You're a 10 to me. I don't know where it came from. Again, I wasn't doing anything special that kind of brought that on. Literally, just the melody and the lyric, you're a 10 to me, came into my head. And once I heard that, I stopped what I was doing. Literally, I was just kind of walking through my apartment, picked up the guitar and just started working on the melody. And so I had this idea of just this 10 to me and built an entire song around it. And really the idea of the song is, what I wanted to portray was an idea of someone who really saw themselves in a different light than what most people see them like. And I think we can all kind of relate to that, where we see ourselves a certain way, whether for good or for bad. Some kind of are lofty in the way we see ourselves, but the purpose of this song was an idea of someone who saw themselves way less than what other people see them like. And I had this idea where, a girl who doesn't see herself and doesn't see her worth and doesn't see kind of what she really looks like to the outside world. And I wanted to write a song about, okay, well, what does it look like, or what does it sound like to try to convince someone who sees themselves that way? And whether they see themselves like that because of past trauma, what they've gone through, how people treated them in their past, and they now have this self-doubt, this lack of self-confidence, almost maybe a self-hate, maybe in some way. And what does that dialogue look like when you try to convince them, well, you're actually not what you see in the mirror, because what you see in the mirror can be flawed, your perspective can be altered, but to me, you're a 10. We often grade things, people, films, a lot of, multiple of other things on a scale of 1 to 10. And I wanted to, portray this idea of, well, you might see yourself one way, but to me, in my eyes, you're a 10. And that's kind of where that inspirational lyric and melody came to my mind. That's what this came to be. So what I wanted to do was kind of like have this dialogue. Well, I know you don't feel like you're worth anything and you're worthless, but to me, you're a 10 to me. And it's almost a prayer as well. Like I hope and I pray And I'm even screaming at the rooftops that you see, eventually you see how I see you, that you almost can see yourself through my eyes, and how valuable you are, and how worthy you are, and how beautiful you are. And sometimes it can be very difficult for people to accept that. There's people out there who don't take compliments well. I take them very well. But there's a lot of hurt and a lot of pain, and a lot of trauma and PTSD that people go through, and it alters their perception of themselves and how they see the world. And this song is really dedicated to those who suffer from that, because we see you. We see you for what it truly is, and you are worthy, and you're valuable. So, at the end of the day, you're a 10 to me, and I'm going to scream that from the top of my lungs, from the rooftops.